Caught Creepshow Art lying yet again in her video. I was stalked for 8+ years. Now, she says that because she deleted all the emails, she didn't have any evidence for the cops. But before this, she says her stalker contacted her boyfriend through text. Just listen.
If I had lied about it, it would have been so painfully obvious. But I felt like because I deleted the emails, I couldn't bring it to the cops because I had no proof. I had nothing to say that this has been going on for a while. I just have my word against, I guess, common sense. So I made excuses as not go to the cops for a very long time. And after that night, I told everyone in my life. I told them what had happened. He tells me that someone had texted him while we were fighting and asked me if I knew what the number was. And he tells me the number, and I said, no, I don't know that number. So he puts his phone down, and he tells me that when we were arguing, he got a variety of long text messages telling him to dump me, saying that I didn't deserve him, saying that I was ugly and fat and gross and stupid, and that he should break up with me because of all of those reasons. And from the way I reacted, he knew that I knew what was going on. He knew I knew something. But I had been lying for years at this point about it, so I tried to play it off, and say like, oh, it must have been a prank or someone who likes you, and I don't know who that is, and
So my question is, she says that she doesn't have any proof to take the cops. But before that, she says that the stalker texted her boyfriend all these horrible things about her. So why didn't they take that to the cops? Why don't they have any of this proof? Like where she says she had talked about her boyfriend on Twitter the day that the stalker had texted the boyfriend.
he starts hounding me, like, who would do this? Who is saying, Shannon, you need to fucking tell me who is saying this. And he had to yell at me in order to get me to break and to be honest. And boy howdy, did I fucking break. At that point, however many years of pent up anger and paranoia and frustration and fear just fucking flew out of me. And I was just so angry and upset and pissed off because I had successfully kept this away from everyone in my real life. No one else was brought into this. I figured once again it was just me against it, and because it was happening to me, it wasn't a big deal. And now this person had tried to get the person who I love more than anything in the world to turn against me and break up with me, and brought him into it and brought him down because of it. And I was just sitting there lying to him out of fear and for no other reason. Like, I was doing that, and I didn't know who was doing this. I didn't know why they were doing it. I told him it's been happening for years. I told him how they had been fucking with me since early on in high school, and how at certain points they had threatened to send naked photos, which they did not have, to my place of work to get me fired. I told him.
I find that interesting that she said that too, considering what happened to Emily by the stalker, you know?
Like, I think my shit started to make sense, and why I did things the way I did started to make sense to him, and he told me straight up I needed to do something about it, that the next time I was emailed, I need to take it to the police. Which in reality is something that I should have done at the beginning. But again, I made a lot of mistakes in this, and I now know that's what I should have done, but I didn't. For some reason, though, even though how he said it made a lot of sense, like, oh, if I just tell everyone in my life that, hey, this is the reason I've been isolating myself and I was on edge and I would lash out for you for some random reason because I thought you were fucking threatening me online, even though you were probably just being a good friend. Like, I thought I could just tell people that instead of doing anything about it, and that would solve my problems. I thought that was enough. Like, the cops didn't need to get involved because in my dumb idiot brain, it was fine. Plus, there was the added bonus that I had deleted all of the emails since I had been getting them.
Funny that she deleted all of her supposed alleged emails from a stalker, but kept all of that information from Emily's social media over this time. It's interesting how she's deleted all of her stuff and kept all of Emily's stuff.
And I couldn't actually back it up with fact or proof. Like, I couldn't even show him basic examples of what I had been getting. All I could do was just...
Yes, you could. You had the text messages that supposedly were sent to your boyfriend's phone. You just got done saying the stalker had texted your boyfriend all these horrible texts about you. Then you just said, well, I didn't have any basic proof to show him or the cops. After you just got done saying, this person texted my boyfriend, harassing me, stalking me again, bringing my boyfriend into it. I'm ugly. I'm this. I'm that, is what they said. You just lied.
And hope to God he believes me, which is good that I'm a terrible liar because...
Why wouldn't he believe you if the stalker texted him all these horrible things about you? He's already got the proof in front of his face. This is why I don't believe you, Shannon. Because you just said, I don't have proof. Why would he believe me? Because she texted him. I don't think anybody texted anyone anything, honestly.
I told everyone in my life. I told them what had happened, what was going on, and I don't think anyone was really shocked. Again, I had been a pretty terrible liar my entire life, so they all knew something had been wrong, but I was really stubborn and hard-headed, and I chose to not be honest with them. So when I finally did tell them, they were really happy, and they were all really supportive. As time continued on, I started that moment after finding those emails and reading them again. It was like a Jimmy Neutron brain blast happened. Because finally, after fucking years, I put 2 and 2 together and realized that holy shit, it was Amy the whole time. All because she signed every one of her emails with telling me to kill myself the same way she did in every single email I had received since then.
It's funny because we don't see that on the one paper that signed Amy. And you said you had made the name Amy up to cover up her privacy because she had a child. So that's another lie. This girl's name was not Amy. Because that came out of your mouth. You said, I used a fake name to cover her privacy, to keep her protected. Then you turn around later and show a piece of paper that's signed by Amy. And you're saying, this Amy stalked you throughout high school. All of this stuff is coming around now full circle, and I get it.
That moment, that fucking moment where I finally knew what had been happening is probably in the top 5 moments of my entire life. I cannot stress to you how good that felt. Knowing that it wasn't any of my middle school friends or high school friends, or no one had been watching me in my bedroom, and no one had been following me while I worked.
A lot of things that Shannon talks about in this video reminds me of what Emily said she also went through. And it's amazing to me that Shannon has made a good amount of money off these videos. Like, is it just that easy to get on YouTube and tell lies, random stories, and make this kind of money, these kind of views? Like, even if it was, done in 2019, that's still good views.
That it wasn't any of my middle school friends or high school friends, or no one had been watching me in my bedroom, and no one had been following me while I worked or while I ran. It was Amy. It was someone who was far away, who didn't know me, it was Amy. You cannot imagine how amazing that...
Okay, right now she says it was Amy, someone far away. But earlier in the video, she says it had to be someone very close to me who knew me very well. Because she claims that she deleted her social media and this person was there. Now remember, she had just said she didn't have any proof to take to the cops, right? Now listen, we're further into the video and listen to what she says now.
I didn't want to go to the cops. I didn't have any proof. I didn't have anything but these emails that were sent in middle school. And I knew that if anything, they would just tell me they couldn't do diddly squat.
They allegedly had your boyfriend's text because you just got done saying they had texted your boyfriend. Now you just said you had emails from school. Which is it, Shannon? You changed the story in your own video here.
Squad about it because I had not had very good experiences with the San Jose Police Department at that point. Instead, I decided I was going to do some internet sleuthing on my own. I
Of
googled her
course.
old email address and found various social medias that were attached to it. MySpaces, Facebook, Twitter, but all of those seemed to no longer be active. Luckily, her Twitter, though, linked me to another Twitter that was active, and that linked me to a YouTube channel, which linked me to an Instagram, that linked me to her Facebook. While I was searching, I couldn't stop asking myself why she would do this. Like, why would Amy put this much effort into something for this amount of time? I felt like a fucking baboon for not seeing it for years and years, but I couldn't think of a really good reason why she would do it.
Now, this is a section that I think Shannon in her mind swapped roles with Emily. I think this actually happened to Emily, but Shannon claims it happened to her. Just listen.
Sad for maybe a day, probably less than that. Middle school drama and bullshit really lasts a long time, and I was quick to forget about it. And I realized while searching that it probably wasn't for her. I had done something to her, and I had broken her trust in a way that, for me, didn't seem to matter, but it did for her.
I believe she's reversing the roles here, and this is alleged, this is just my opinion, but I believe she's talking about Emily. I think she is justifying what she's allegedly done to Emily. And in this video, think of Emily as her and her as Emily for what she's saying right now. I know she's claiming this is Amy, but we all know there is no Amy.
I realized that I had done something to her, something that made her feel justified in doing this.
I think in Shannon's mind, Emily did something to her that made her feel justified for doing what she's doing here.
Made me realize, as fucked up as what she did was, I was probably not as innocent as I thought I was in this. I'm not trying to imply that I deserved this shit or that anyone deserves this shit to be done with them, but like, my actions led to that reaction that I got, you know? I don't know. When I found her
See how she claims that her actions, even though she thinks it's something very small, but it was very big to Amy, I think she's talking about Emily here, and something that she thinks that Emily has done to her is why she did these things. And I'm going to tell you something. If that's the case, Shannon needs to see someone. I'm going to read out the letters between her and her sister that she shared publicly in my next video. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of me type stuff. It's really sad to see two siblings go down this road. But I'm going to tell you what, this has been one heck of a story. I know the video's hitting 13 minutes, but I really wanted to share this because I've been through this video and there's a lot in it that just screams Emily, Emily, Emily. Many things. And several parts where Shannon actually, gets caught up in her lies, like I just spoke about.
Active Facebook, I sat down and I wrote her out the apology that she had deserved from the beginning. The apology.
And I think when she says I sat down and wrote out, I believe she's talking about Emily, that she sat down and wrote Emily. Something. We know Amy isn't real. So either she's making stuff up or this is the roles reversed. And I'm going to tell you this. Where did Shannon first hear about Emily's claim that Anthony R-worded her? Did Shannon hear that story from Anthony or did she see it in Emily's video? Because Shannon tells that same story and claims that Amy said it happened to her and it's almost identical. So where did Shannon hear that story first? From Emily or from Anthony? I'm going to find out.
That I thought I gave, but I wasn't mature enough to do when I was younger. I didn't try to bullshit her or bring everything back to the threats, the emails, the fucking garbage, the mental abuse that she had put me through this whole time. I didn't tell her that I knew it was her, or I was going to stick the cops on her. I didn't try to make excuses for my behavior or pretend that she deserves my lies. And I told her that I was truly sorry for what I had done, and I hoped we could both move forward from this.
Now, Shannon claims that this big thing she's done to Amy is cut her off. That don't make no sense, Shannon. I don't believe that. Just like I know Amy isn't real. You said she wasn't. The name Amy wasn't real.
I needed video chat with her, which I did. And for the first time ever, we talked face to face. She told me full on, full out, no stops, no bullshit, that she had been the one sending me the messages. She didn't pretend it was a good thing to do or that she was proud of it. And she said she had been.
I call bull. I don't believe somebody stalked you for all these years, texted your boyfriend, emailed you on many different sock accounts, found your every email that you used, your Facebook, your Twitter, your everything, harassed you. And then all of a sudden, hey, will you FaceTime me? Hey, you know what? I was the one that harassed you and bullied you all these years. Let's be friends. I do not believe that. I honestly think that was a reversed role of what Shannon attempted to do with Emily. I don't know that's true. That's just my opinion.
I posted about my life online on MySpace and Facebook, and all she had to do was make a fake MySpace and Facebook and Twitter to follow what I was doing. She told me that I wasn't careful really with who I added, especially if it was a guy who I thought was cute, so that just made it a lot easier.
But you said you had cut your social media out for a while. How did she get your information then? And you had a boyfriend. So you were adding a bunch of cute guys? This, it, but you're loyal like this to Anthony? I don't believe this, Shannon. I don't believe this whole conversation happened. I think this is all made up.
Emails became a way for her to cope with the stress of her life.
No, I think that's a way for you to cope with the stress in your life. And I think that's why you allegedly did this to Emily, to cope with the stress in your life. Yeah, I think a lot of that was malarkey. We'll do another part tomorrow. Thanks for watching, guys. Say bye, Tiny Tim. Bye.